people say, "Oh, do you have all your stuff written out?" That's the first question people usually ask. And yeah, absolutely. I have just a very sprawling, poorly organized Word file on my laptop that I think has just crossed 500 pages, where it's literally blue highlight title of a joke and then the word for word text of that joke with parentheticals and like stage directions. If it's like, looking aside, blah, blah, blah. So that is what I consider to be like the product that I'm looking for when I sit down to write. What I will usually do, everything's going to come out of if I think of some little twist that's like a little wordplay twist or just a little scenario, I'll write that out, and it's like, okay, so what's the backdrop that is going to like really make this stand out and is going to, one, create misdirection so the audience thinks I'm going somewhere else, but also be clear enough so that when I arrive at the destination, everything makes sense as to how we got there. Yeah. Like they realize, oh, this couldn't have gone any other way, even though I didn't know where we were going. So just like an example, because that's all fairly abstract. Like 2 years ago, I went to see a show that Nick Masick was producing at the Tin Roof. It was right before Halloween. And there was like a broom that was a Halloween like decoration that was just above the bar. And I just looked at it, and it's like I was just staring at it. I'm like, there is something there. And I was like, okay, the whole witch broom connection is just so strange. And then the Halloween connection, and then like the broom, it has all sorts of other uses. So I'm like, I just stared at it for a second, and then like the first thing I came up with was like, okay, witches ride brooms. Brooms are a cleaning implement. These days, though, you might use a Roomba. So I'm like, okay, witches riding Roombas. There's something kind of funny there. And then I was like, all right, what would be the set? I was like, oh, my neighborhood's so rich, the witches ride Roombas. Okay. So, that one's never actually made it out of the notes, but it's in there. It was like the first thing. So I sat there and thinking, and then that was like the kernel of the witches joke that I do all the time, which is like I do this thing about Halloween and Halloween costumes, and I say like, my little niece goes to a school and they're not allowed to wear offensive costumes. You can't be a devil, scares the younger kids. Can't be a priest, scares the older kids. And at that point, that usually gets a really big pop. And people, that's the other thing, like when you get a big pop halfway through the joke, people think, oh, that was the whole thing. Right. And so now you've done all this setting up, but also their guard's completely down. And then it's like the one that gets me is no witches. Like apparently witches freak out the rich kids. Well, they've never seen a white woman use a broom. Yeah. And so then that gets the huge laugh and moan, and it's like, oh, okay, we thought we'd already heard the joke with the priest thing, but that's how it came about. It was just that little kind of like, I know there's something weird there. The whole witches and brooms and, the multi-use of that item. And it's got like...
Yeah, it's like you're pulling at a thread of funny.
Yeah, and it's just anything that's got like, different purposes depending on the context. Like another one of the jaw cramp joke. And
that's my favorite joke.
A lot of people will say like, all right, here's an idea. Stop me, because I'm just going to go on here. I'll just, I'll be quiet for hours. And then like you start talking about jokes and I'm just going. But a lot of like joke writing classes, they'll say, all right, well, if you want to write about this topic, just, do a brainstorm, a brain dump, and write everything that's associated with it, and then to start to look for connections between those things. And like you can the jaw cramp joke is, I used to get terrible cramps in my jaw from cocaine until I figured out that you can just buy it with money. But like, so right, it always works. But if you just put like cocaine down in the top of a page of blank page of paper, and then you're like, okay, well, what? Crack, blowjobs, expensive. You will come up with those connections, and then you just like, and then the jaw cramp thing is like, okay, well, you get a jaw cramp from like everybody who's done coke knows, you get that kind of thing. Yeah. But
there's other things.
Everyone who's ever given a blowjob, I imagine, has probably had that. So it's like, you connect those two things, and then it's like it seems like the joke writes itself. But if you set it up correctly, you know, no one's thinking blowjob when I say I used to get cramps in my jaw from. You do the motion that every crypto bro, you know, he's snorting coke off his hood of his Lambo is familiar with.
What I love,
I
mean, that joke is so good.
Yeah,
And the last time you told it a couple of days ago, last time when I was there, and you told like someone literally got up from the audience, walked over to the stage, and gave him a fist bump.
The favorite, like when you get a whole room laughing, there's like a beat. And then the laugh, and then some people just are going, "Oh my god, oh my!" And they're like, "Okay." Some of these people are like shocked and horrified. Some of them are loud. That's perfect. Perfect little mix.
The thing was that like Mark just didn't get the exchange. He was trying to give him a baggie. Mark just gave him a fist bump. And you don't. Or you have to open your hand. That's what that guy was offering.